I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to stop over communication and create your goals faster as a result. Because the truth is that you absolutely can just talk way too much when you're creating what you want. You can tell people about how to do it and what you're going to do and how you're going to create it and what it's going to look like and all these different things. But it's like, wait a second, are you actually doing it? Are you actually being the person that you say you want to be? Are you actually ignoring all the negativity? Or are you feeding into negativity? Because sometimes talking about something can feed into the negativity, and you're telling about all these things and all the things you want to do and all the things you want to create and how amazing it's going to be. But it's like, wait a second, are you being that actual person to create it? Are you, being aligned with the person necessary to create what it is that you want? Are you actually being that person? Because if you're telling people about how amazing it's going to be and what you really want to do and how amazing it's going to look, and it's like, sometimes that's just not going to cut it. And so in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to stop this cycle of over communication and then shift into just being the person that you actually want to be. And then so the first thing that I want to share with you in this video in terms of how to actually do this is just remember that number one, really it's about less talking about what you're going to do, less talking about where you're going to go and what you're going to do, and then more action towards creating it. More action towards the goal. Less talking about how amazing it's going to be and what you're going to do, and then just actually do it. More action towards creating it, because we're going to go through life so many times and it's going to be so easy to be distracted from the outside world, right? To need that external validation to get people to, you expect them to respond a certain way. And if they don't, your piece is now all messed up. That's not a really powerful way to live. That's not going to be a way to live that's going to make you feel peaceful or calm, because if you're expecting other people to respond a certain way and then only then can you be happy, it's a lot of pressure that you're putting on somebody to be a certain type of way when you can't even create that peace within yourself. How are you going to expect them to come from a place of calmness and show up for you if you can't even do that for yourself? So just remember that really one of the most important things that you can do to be the person that you want to be in your life is not really talk about where you're going and then just actually go towards it. Show people the results. Show people who you are by being who you are. Stop telling them about how amazing it's going to be and then make it amazing. Make it a result. Make it something that other people are going to say, look at that and say, oh my God, how did you do that? How did you create that? Tell me about it. And then you can tell them how you created it. You can tell them what the step-by-step process was. You can explain to them what you did, but you don't need to over-communicate before it actually becomes a solid reality. If you want to create something in your life, don't be so focused on the emotion of how amazing it's going to be and telling people about that. Feel that emotion. If the emotion is you're feeling it, then that's amazing. But telling people about it, well, now you're not even doing what you need to do anymore. And so the second thing that I want to share with you in this video is just remember that, that energy that you use to talk about what you're going to do, you can literally be using that energy to actually do it once again. We've come full circle once again to the same concept, but, said in a slightly different way. Maybe I'm even over communicating right now, possibly so. But I want you to understand that it's not necessary at all. I personally try to keep my communication to a minimum, so to make my points just as simple and as easy to understand as possible without saying more than necessary. And then just so remember, the point here in this particular case is while you're, all that energy that you're expelling to talk about what you want, you can literally be using all that capacity, all that energy to actually do it. So you're wasting energy when you're talking about it. When you're talking about it, when you have an opinion about how maybe it's going to happen or how it's not going to happen or how you're excited about it or maybe that you're worried about it's not going to happen, whether it's a positive opinion or whether it's a negative opinion, it's literally energy going away from what you want. Because remember, if you actually already had something, that world exists in reality right now. It exists as a possibility. And if you were to step into that version of yourself, you wouldn't be saying, if you were already that person, you wouldn't be having any type of thought pattern or question or talking to anybody about how amazing it's going to be. It would be a normal part of your consciousness, just a normal identity. That's just who you are. This is just who I am. It's just normal. So what you want in your life You want to make that as normal as possible. Not this amazing thing that if you get this, you're going to be so much happier. It's like, it's just normal. It's just who you are. Make it normal. Yes, I'm not saying to not be grateful. Yes, be grateful. Be happy towards having your goals. But don't be attached to the gratefulness or the happiness either, because that's just another positive emotion that's going to fade and change away. Sadness is an emotion that this too shall pass. Positive emotion and excitement also is going to pass. It's not something that we need to attach to or say that that's going to be our peace and happiness is when we can feel happy. That's not going to be a result that's going to make you feel fulfilled. But just remember that try to avoid wasting energy on something that's not helping you get what you want. If it's not helping you get the goal, maybe you're doing something wrong. Maybe you just need to stop focusing on doing it in that way and change the plan just a little bit. Sometimes we're so attached to doing the same plan every single time. It's like talking about it. It's like, stop talking about it. Maybe you need to change the plan and not say anything about that at all and just do it. Don't tell anybody about it. Just change it or do the same thing every single day. Stop telling people so much. Stop telling people so much. They don't need to know. Sometimes it's none of their concern. You just want to explain the results to them. Tell them what you've created. And then when they're excited to know, then you can share that with them once again. So for me personally, I want to conclude this video with just, I don't want to digress in this video. I don't want to over communicate myself. What I want to share with you to conclude this video is, for me, this is what I've noticed in my life. And I really hope that this sincerely helps you in some way. But for me, I noticed that the less that I talk, and of course, maybe in this particular case, me recording a video, I have to talk, of course. But in more context than not, the less that I talk, the more work that I get done. So the less that you're going to talk, I believe, the more work you're going to get done as well. That, not for everybody, but for me, that's what I noticed. So I really do believe that the less a person talks, the more they're going to get done. Because once again, how much work you get done is going to be proportional to how focused you are and how much energy and intention you're literally putting into it. How much action are you actually taking? How much action are you literally putting into what you want to create? How much action are you actually putting in? So if you're literally putting in action every single day, and you're actually focused, and you're really putting in that intention, and you're really putting in the focus and the effort to create something, you're not going to be talking as much. Unless, of course, what you need to do is talk. Like, of course, you're recording a video, you need to talk like me and continue talking, right? But it's like when you're doing other things to support that, sometimes I have to edit a video. Sometimes I have to write an email or do other tasks where I'm required to focus on doing other things. If I'm talking about how amazing it's going to be when I get these things done, I'm not doing them. And if I'm talking while I'm doing them, I'm definitely not doing them. And you can multitask and talk, but if that's getting in the way of your work, you need to talk less. I'm not saying to be a robot where you don't talk and don't tell anybody anything, don't share things with your family, or don't talk while you're working. But if that's impacting your work, you need to stop that completely and recalibrate yourself to be the person that you want to be. And I'm not saying you have to do anything in this video, but for me, I found that if I don't have the time to really just stop talking, my work gets really impacted in a negative way, because sometimes it's not about talking, it's just about doing. It's not about thinking anymore. You've already thought the plan out, you already know what you're going to do, so do it. It's not about thinking about how it's going to work or creating a better plan. The plan, you could potentially create a better plan, but really it's just about doing the plan and following through with the plan to get the result. So I really believe that if you do these things, it's going to help you to not communicate as much, to be able to get that result that you're actually looking for in your life, and then get those goals to happen in a much faster way.